You guys are committing at least ethnic cleansing, at least.
Okay, just to that point, and then we can stop talking. You're saying we're committing, which means we're doing it today, yes?
Yes.
How many people have we cleansed?
About 100,000 people have crossed to Egypt since 7th of October.
More than,
So, there
sorry,
you go,
did you say more
100,000
than 1,000?
100,000 people, yeah.
100,000 people. So it was a war. It is a war. They're refugees. There's refugees from every war. By that measure, every war is an act of ethnic cleansing.
True, you're right. But
And one follow-up question. Did those 100,000 people pay $10,000 to Egyptians per person to escape?
I know it's officially required to pay that amount of money, but I don't think 100,000 people had that money. So they must have crossed somehow, I'm sure, without paying.
So your definition of ethnic cleansing is refugees fleeing a war zone, paying thousands of dollars of their own money to corrupt Egyptians to escape a war zone.
I didn't say that. Ethnic cleansing is there for a lot of reasons. It includes that, but it's not limited to it. One of those reasons, the intent. Yes, there's an intent from the Israeli side to cleanse Gaza. And I've seen a video of Ben Gvir, which is the Minister of National Security, and he's talking about this is actually going to happen. They want to empty the land and start settlements and kick all Palestinians out of Gaza. And it's not just him. I think Netanyahu made the same remarks, and Ben Smotrich, they made the same remarks too. And there's also the intent when it comes to attacking and leveling all the strip. Very soon it's going to be all of it, and people will have nowhere to live, and they will eventually be forced to the borders. And at the same time, there are pressure on Egypt and Jordan to take all these people in, which means all of this, put all of that together, stack it all up, ethnic cleansing.
So I have a follow-up question to that as well.
Okay.
Just a little follow-up question. Would you like to see the Palestinians victorious and driving the Jews back and sending them back to Europe, sending them back to Morocco, wherever they came from?
No, not. It's impossible to drive all these people back
No, but
somewhere where they didn't even.
Would you like that? Would you like that?
I never thought about it, honestly, but if that's gonna solve the problem, I guess.
So if I was to tell you that that's part of the Palestinian Hamas's charter and part of the Palestinian charter as well, so the moderates to the extremists all believe that the Jews that weren't here before 1917 have no right to be here.
Okay. I'm also sure that Hamas charter has been changed, right? I think they changed it. They did.
No, they changed it. No, it's got nothing to do with what I'm describing. What you're talking about is the line to do with, and they never changed it. They literally then released a statement in Arabic saying they haven't changed it. I guarantee you, they say we haven't changed the charter. We've changed the wording, the sentiment they still support. And that was to do with the religious conflict, the anti-Semitism. That's nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Whether
but I think if I'm not mistaken, this line of driving all of them back to where they were, I don't think that exists in the charter anymore. And it doesn't matter because
it's Article 6 of the Palestinian National Charter.
Okay, no problem. We'll talk about reality. Are they able? Are they able to do that? Are they able to do it?
But I just want to point out the hypocrisy. Every Palestinian party supports ethnic cleansing. You said just then, yes, that would be nice, and you're complaining. You're complaining about Israel.
Fix the problem. I said if it's going to fix the problem.
So if Bezalel Smotrich says that if all 2 million Gazans voluntarily leave and it fixes the problem, then that would be nice.
How is that fixing a problem if you're displacing people from the only place they have ever known and they don't have the ability to live anywhere else?
Yeah, you're right.
That's the key word.
You're right. The Al-Masri family has only ever known Nablus in Gaza. You're right. The Al-Masri and the Bushnaks, they've only ever known the Palestine
family
and the Maghrebis. The two richest Palestinian men are from two different Al-Masri families. Al-Masri is one of the most common names in Nablus and in Gaza City.
Okay.
So
All right.
you're telling me the Egyptians, that's what it translates to, have only ever known Palestine. You're telling me the Bushnaks, the Bosnians, have only ever known Palestine. You're telling me the Maghrebis, the Moroccans, have only ever known Palestine. The Sauds have only ever known Palestine. Are you? Is this a serious conversation we're having?
Those names that you brought up, these names that you brought up, do they sum up the 2 million people living in Gaza?
The overwhelming majority of Gazans and Palestinians in general descend from immigrants.
It doesn't matter descent from immigrants if it's not. They don't know nothing.
Most of whom came
Gaza.
in the last 300 years.
No problem. I mean, some of these Jews, most of them arrived all of them, if not most of them, arrived like 70 or 80 years ago.
So explain to me how the majority population of Jerusalem 200 years ago was Jewish, if we only just arrived.
You had existence. I know. I didn't say.
We were the largest population.
All of them, most of them did. Yeah,
we were the largest population in Jerusalem. How is that possible?
Yes, but not the majority in the entirety of the land. Not the majority. Palestinians were way more than Israelis or Jews, if you want to call them Jews back then. You know that they were the vast majority by a big difference.
Why were they the majority?
Because they lived there.
Because they moved en masse and didn't allow Jews in. So Arab Muslims were welcome. Jews weren't. Christians couldn't come in, so the Christian communities declined. The Jewish communities declined, and the Islamic supremacist populations grew. Why is that? Why is it that under the Caliphate? Why is it under the Caliphate, the different Khulafa allowed many Muslims into the land? So under the Ottomans, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of Muslims flooded into Palestine. You take under the Ayyubids, Salahuddin, and those that came after him, thousands and thousands of Muslims entered the land. Why is it that Hebron is a third Kurdi? Muhammad al-Kurd. Do you think he's indigenous? Muhammad al-Kurd?
Listen, here's the thing. Before I answer that, not because someone is called al-Masri or al-Maghrabi, it makes them actually native to the name Masr or Maghreb.
Why do you think the al-Masris are called al-Masri?
Because that's the name that they had. But
most of the al-Masris came over under. Do you know who Ibrahim Pasha was from Egypt, from Masr?
Ibrahim Pasha, yeah.
Yeah. So most of the al-Masris came over during his reign in Egypt. Very recently. Back end of the Ottoman Empire.
No problem. Again, what I'm saying is, let's just go back to the original statement. What I'm saying is, those people in Gaza, if you displace them, the vast majority of them don't have the means to be able to survive any other place. Financially.
Bro, you just done effed up. I just released a video today.
I saw your video.
The mansions of Palestine.
You're taking videos of places of people. We're talking about 2 million people. What you're doing, by the way, is dishonest because you're taking how many people have you watched their property? 100, 200, 300 people. Like, come on, man. How can you generalize all of that?
Every Palestinian village in Judea and Samaria has villas like the one I just told you. But I want to try something.
Crazy thing is... Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
How much money has been donated to Gaza since October the 7th, 2023?
There isn't a single definitive figure for total donations to Gaza since October 7th, 2023.
Sure, you tried this before.
It comes from many different countries, international organizations, and private charities, and the amounts are not fully centralized into one global total.
It's billions of dollars have flown into Gaza since October the 7th. Even if
my man, those billions of dollars, are they money that people pocket? What are those billions of dollars?
That's my point. That's my point. Where did the money go?
It's not money. That's the thing. It's not money that gets pocketed. It's not money. It's things, food, aid, and all sorts of things. How are they going to give money? Have you seen them? Have you seen in Gaza people getting money in their hands, receiving money, and then pocketing it? Did you see that?
So can I ask a question? Have you donated to any fundraisers for Gazans? Like
I did
GoFundMe.
before, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where do you think that
But
money
that's before,
went?
like, that's not in the last 2 years. I did that, like, way before the war. I didn't
No,
do
I
it
mean
after
since
the war.
October the 7th. You didn't donate to one
Oh,
GoFundMe.
no, I didn't.
Bro,
No.
your
I'm
brothers
not living
had
in
more.
America. We don't have GoFundMe.
No, but they do. They had all kind of GoFundMes they raised in Gaza for individuals. Like I saw
Yeah, there is.
thousands, each of them raising tens
Yeah, I
to
get.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Like, man, I understand. You can raise the money, but what are you going to do with the money? Are you going to give the money to the people in their hands? How can you even transfer money?
No,
How
it
can you
goes
wire money
to
to Gaza?
it goes to the people who launched a Gazan opens a GoFundMe.
In the form of what? Of aid, like food, like water. That's the aid that is going into Gaza, not money. People are not gonna pocket that money. How are you gonna even distribute that money to people? How?
Do you remember Mr.
insane.
Mr. Fafo, who raised so many millions of dollars that Hamas murdered him?
Okay.
He raised
So
tens of millions of dollars for himself,
all right.
and Hamas murdered him because of that.
That's
He
awful.
effed around and
That's
found
awful.
out.
That's awful. But again, like I said, people are not pocketing money, which supports the claim. What I'm making is that they cannot go just like Israelis can, like fly whenever they like and go whatever place they can and just settle. It's not easy for everyone. Yeah, for some families they have money. Yeah, some can do, but not the majority of them. Not even close. That's what I'm saying. Which basically brings us back to the original conversation. Yes, it would be easier for Israelis to leave, and they can do it, and they have done it in the beginning of the war, and you know that. But for the Gazans, no. That's it. And yeah, it's an ethnic cleansing that's going on right now
It's
in
an
Gaza.
ethnic cleansing that people
evident.
paid for to escape a war zone, and Israel hasn't forced one person out. The opposite is the case.
How is it not? How were they not forced? Do you mean that forced means that they have to push them physically to the borders that they can leave?
Yes, that's what ethnic cleansing means. You force them out. You cleanse them.
Force them out by so many ways, by coercion, by bombing their places, by bombing their homes, by having them live in the streets, brother. Like, what do you expect people to do? That's forcing.
So that's war. Can you name a war where that hasn't happened?
I'm sure the wars between Israel and Egypt, for an example, Egypt didn't do any of that to Israelis, ever. You can fact check me on that.
Okay, so perfect. In 1948, what happened to the Jews that lived in Gaza?
I guess left. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Egypt forcefully removed them. They ethnically cleansed the Jewish community of Gaza City.
I don't think that happened now.
You don't think so? You think there were Jews living in Gaza after 1948?
I'm not sure if they were living there, but if anyone was living there, they probably got killed, destroyed, and I'm sure it's not done by Egyptians because Egyptians don't do that. Egyptians don't bomb people disproportionately and then say, "Well, it's war." We've never done that. We've never.
You've never done that, bro. 1948. What were you doing in Israel? It's not your country.
Fighting the Israelis on behalf of the Palestinians that were weak, cannot fight, and we were weak ourselves.
On behalf of the Palestinians.
Yeah.
There were no Palestinians then.
How were there no Palestinians there? How? Explain it to me.
How were that? Because there were Arabs that were living there. Palestinian nationalism wasn't really a thing. Jordan annexed the West Bank, called it the West Bank. It was originally Judea and Samaria. Jewish names, not Arab
issues
names.
With the names?
No,
the issues with the name.
My issue is with Egyptians
Arabs.
who claim they've never removed people. You literally booted out your Jewish community from Egypt.
Our Jewish communities that left, they left because of the people around them that harassed them, which is bad. I agree, it's bad in everything. But it was not done from the state. It was done by people living around them in their neighborhoods, right? Your country, here's the thing, dude, like, you're Ben Gvir, and the other guy Smotrich, and Netanyahu, their statements and the actions of the IDF, it's clear. I'm not making assumptions, and I'm not talking about something that wasn't put on video for everyone to see. It's clear. And you're bombing, and then can you please take them? Egypt take them. Jordan take them.
Before 1948, were there thousands of Jews in Egypt, and were there thousands of Jews or the hundreds of Jews in Gaza?
Were there thousands of Jews in Egypt, and
hundreds of Jews in Gaza?
I don't know about Gaza, how many Jews were there, but I know there were Jews in Egypt. I know there were Jews in Egypt and Morocco and Tunisia. I know. And they left.
And today there's 0-0 pretty much in both those territories. Meanwhile, Israel has 2 million Arabs with full citizenship and political representation. If I want, I can vote for an Arab party, an Islamist party in the upcoming elections. And you have the audacity to accuse us of ethnic cleansing. You mastered the art. You cleansed your Arab nations of their Jews, and then you cry like little girls when little girls flee a war zone and accuse us of ethnic cleansing. I tell you,
because the intention is there. Now let's talk about the 2 million Arabs. The 2 million Arabs that live in Palestine, that live in Israel. I'm sure you guys are not ethnically cleansing them. Now I didn't make that claim. I know they're living in peace, and probably they have a lot of the rights, if not all of them. I'm not sure. I can't make that claim because I don't know much about that. But it's not because they're living peacefully in that country, it means that all the other Palestinians or all the other Arabs are not experiencing those bad circumstances. It's not. That doesn't mean anything.
I think my closing comment would be, it's so rich for an Egyptian to complain about women and girls running from a war when the Egyptians have mastered the art of running like little girls and women from war. 1973, you run like little women and girls. 1948, you run like little women and girls. 1967, you run like little women and girls. You are the masters at running from war, yet you cry when actual women and girls try to leave a war zone. Astaghfirullah.
It's not just women and girls that are leaving the wars. It's all civilians. Okay, well, how did we run from 1973? And we're the ones that we started. Like we started.
You started the war. You started the war.
No place to run. And where did we run? Yeah, we started.
You ran from the Sinai. We were 100 kilometers from Cairo. We took 1,600 kilometers of Egyptian territory in a war that you started. You took 11 kilometers. 11 versus 1,600 kilometers.
Not because the Egyptian military ran, they didn't run. They were what was it called?
Humiliated.
They were circled by the IDF. No, circled, trapped by the IDF, which is a smart move. But they didn't run. There was no escaping. They didn't run. And then the Israeli defense armies or whatever, they went into Suez, and then they faced a lot of resistance, and they were pushed out of the city. And then the ceasefire came, and the whole thing was over. The Egyptian army didn't run anywhere. It didn't.
So how come we took 1,600 kilometers of Egypt?
You did operationally made a great advance. I didn't say it didn't happen.
In a war that you started.
It happened. So what?
It happens every time you start a war. It's the same with every Arab nation. Look at Iran. Look at Lebanon. Look at Syria. Look at... Actually, Jordan less so. Jordan's the only military that's ever kind of had successes. We still whooped them, though, and drove them out of Judea and Samaria. But they did better than any other Arab army. In fact, Jordan had to come and rescue you when you advanced in 1948. You got circled by the IDF again. It's amazing how many times the IDF circles you. You should start calling us a compass the way we circle you.
My man. It's okay. I can accept defeat, all right? But this current situation, it's not going to end in your favor. Yes, you're making operational success left and right, but it's not going to end in your favor. At the end, it's going to be different. This is the last time. No more wars after this. This one, there's no going back, because the way we see this, the way it's going to fold up, that all the Gazans are either going to be killed or killed. Like, there's no other exception, because this is not stopping, right? Did you think this is going to stop? I mean, Hamas don't have control over Gaza anymore. They relinquished it, and now they're agreeing
have all their weapons.
Okay, they have their weapons, but they have they're carrying out executions. Control.
They're executing Gazans on an almost daily basis. How do they not have control? I mean, yes, we have 70%. We have 70% of Gaza. That's true. But the 30% that they control, they control.
And control how? Like, how do they control it, though? I don't see any control. Weapons. Okay, possessing weapons doesn't mean you're in control, my man.
So are there protests against Hamas?
What protest against Hamas? What is it?
Are there any protests against Hamas?
I haven't seen anything recently.
No, because they've been organized ones and they've been cracked down every time by Hamas. Hamas have prevented protests against them. If Hamas don't have control, why aren't they protesting?
Do you think have control means only being able to kill people or to fight people? That's it. That's not.
Sorry. No. Then I would agree. If you're
control.
saying they've lost the government's institutions and stuff, I'd agree with that. I would agree with that. But
They don't have control in an administrative way. It's over. It's over, and they cannot maintain
I
anything.
agree. I misunderstood what you were saying. They control Gaza like a mafia can control a territory, but not like a government controls.
I mean, if you want to put it that way, but here's the thing: if you're in a time of war and your people are about to revolt against you, what do you expect those people to do? I mean, the same thing is happening right now in your country, where a lot of leftists or whatever. Doing protest against being drafted to military and for peace with Palestine or with Gaza, and I've seen them being kicked up really bad by the IDF or the police, the Israeli police. I've seen that because they're doing something that is not going to be accepted in a time of war. You cannot oppose me in a time of war. It happened in a democratic society.
A friend of mine lives over the road from Netanyahu in Jerusalem. And every single night there's protests outside his residence.
And what happened? They were attacked by the police in the streets. It's on video. You can fact check me by getting on video. You're gonna find those Israelis being kicked.
Leftist protest. I can find you videos of any police anywhere in the world cracking down on violent protesters. You have the right to protest in Israel. You don't have the right to protest in Gaza. We had hundreds of thousands of people on the street against Netanyahu, against the judicial reform. You can't have that in Gaza. You're not allowed to protest against Hamas. This is a silly argument. You've seen hundreds of thousands of people on the street protesting Netanyahu.
All right, hold on. Yes, they were protesting, and they had consequences because of that. The same thing is going to happen in Gaza.
The judicial reform protests were hundreds of thousands of people, almost on a weekly basis, daily basis, on some periods, were out protesting against the government. How were there violent crackdowns on them? How were there protests?
They were beaten in the street. I swear to God, dude. I'm sure you've seen the videos.
Hundreds of people were beating on the street. Are you serious?
No, I didn't say the hundreds of thousands. I've seen videos of them getting beaten. I didn't say the hundreds of thousands.
Israel is a democracy. We have Arabs in the government. We have leftists in the elections.
I know.
We can protest on the streets. We're a democracy. Gaza isn't.
Again, well, that doesn't negate the fact that those people were being for protesting against the government and Netanyahu.
You're simply making things up.
I swear it did. Listen, if this is going to go online or if people are watching, they can Google and they can find that stuff on YouTube. I swear to God, there's
You will always find protesters clashing with police. I'm saying hundreds of thousands of people protested and they were free to protest. They were free to protest.
Yes, you have the freedom to protest, and the government has the freedom to respond.
Okay, where are the hundreds of thousands of people protesting Hamas?
Why would? First of all, I know people are against Hamas.
They don't like Hamas. They don't like Hamas.
I know that a lot of people that don't like Hamas, but I'm sure they don't like IDF too. They don't want Israelis taking control of the country because that's.
I'm not saying they're out there waving Israel. I agree. They're not there waving Israeli flags.
Then what are they going to be protesting for? What are they going to be protesting for?
For Hamas to disarm so they can get their lives back.
And then let the Israelis in to have control, right?
If Israel wants to come in, Israel can come in tomorrow. Hamas aren't preventing us from coming in. Hamas's handguns are not preventing the mighty IDF from entering Gaza. Hamas are not a deterrent.
Okay, so you agree that Hamas is not that threat that everyone is making it to be, right? We're agreeing on that.
So the threat that Hamas poses is if they remain in power and are able to rearm to the levels of October 7th. That's the threat. Hamas can't end Israel. Hamas could never destroy Israel.
Yeah,
what Hamas could do is carry out some of the most barbaric, savage massacres of Jews that we've seen since the Holocaust. And you can shrug your shoulders, but if you have any compassion, you would agree that murdering babies, murdering children is not noble, is not It's not courageous, but you can.
However,
strike terror into the hearts of Israelis, and they did that. Because I have children, I don't want savages crossing over my garden fence and butchering my children. And so I will support any government that ensures that Hamas can never do that.
The other side also wants the same thing. They don't want their kids butchered. They don't want to be shot dead.
I agree.
They don't want.
And that's why they want. That's why they want Hamas out. Because Hamas created this war. Hamas started this war.
Okay. They want Hamas out, and they also don't want Israel in.
I agree.
But that's not possible.
That's not an argument.
But you're saying you agree. Ben Gvir doesn't agree, and he has the power.
Ben Gvir has no power. He's projected
he has
to have
power. Of course, he has power. He's the minister of
projected to have 7 to 8 seats. He's only got the position that he's got because Benjamin Netanyahu needed him for the coalition to remain in power.
Benjamin Netanyahu, who is the prime minister who shares the same sentiment.
And Netanyahu
shares the same sentiment.
Netanyahu does not share the same sentiment. He's not part of the same political party. One is Likud, one is Otzma. They're very different.
But they have the same. Come on, man. You know, in the beginning of the war, if you remember, Trump and Netanyahu, they were talking about how they're going to make Gaza very beautiful, and they're going to take care of the beaches, and they're going to be building things, and so on and so forth. And when they saw Egypt and Jordan telling them, no, we're not going to take Palestinians, and what you're trying to do isn't going to work, they backed down. But that's the plan, and that's the intent. That's what I'm talking about. We all know that this is the intent. They're not just going to, okay, Hamas is gone, you can have Gaza, we're leaving. That's not going to happen, and you know it. And you know there is no going back from now.
So there is no going back from October the 7th. Hamas have destroyed Gaza, and they've destroyed any potential for a Palestinian state. Hamas will go down in history as the party, as the people that did that. That's what they will be known for. Historians will write about this.
They ignited the conflict, but they didn't finish it that way. You're telling me that even if Hamas is defeated and disarmed and everything, there is no going back because you're not going to let the Palestinians have their way with their homeland.
I commit every fiber of my being to opposing a Palestinian state because I think Palestinianism is an identity is a nationalism that was created to defeat me and my children. I would like to see the Arabs of this land given the same rights as me. I would like to see them as Israeli citizens. But I do not want to see a Palestinian state because any Palestinian state will be used to attack my country, just without a doubt, because that's what they all tell us. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be what?
Free, and we can also say a land without people for people without land, which was also a Zionist slogan before Israel came to existence.
It was actually created,
which is a genocidal
Lord Shaftesbury, but ignoring that.
Christian Zionists.
So,
who have made that slogan, and it's what a genocidal slogan.
It predated the modern political Zionist movement, but let's not get facts get in the way of a good anti-Zionist talking point.
It existed.
There were Arabs here. There weren't Palestinians. There were Arabs living here. Every major Zionist writer from Herzl onwards wrote about the Arabs that lived in this region. No one shied away from the fact there were people living here. The fact that some Christian in the UK coined that expression means nothing.
So this expression was not used by Zionists back then? You're wrong.
First, it also says nation, because there was no nation here. It was the pimple. It was the pimple on the rear of the Ottoman Empire.
It said land without people and people without land.
No, so
it said that.
So that when it was translated into Hebrew, which is when you say in Zionists use it, it was a land without a nation for a nation without a land. What's the difference between a people and a nation?
It didn't say that. It didn't say that.
I
don't speak Hebrew. No, I don't. Okay, but I know what it said, and it said people. It said people. It was
what's the Hebrew? What's the Hebrew word for nation?
I don't know. I told you I don't speak Hebrew.
So how can you tell me that I'm wrong?
Because if the translation was nation, it wouldn't have been written all over on the internet. Since we found out about it, it was about people, not nation.
You got me, bro. You got me. It was written on the internet. Therefore, it is true. You know what else is written all over the internet?
I didn't say it's... Hold on.
That the earth is flat.
Okay, but I didn't say that I believe in that.
Okay, good.
If hold on a second. If the saying is always people without land without people without land, why was it incorrectly translated?
Do you know who
And
Israel
why did no
Zangwill
one
is?
say anything
Do you know
about
who
it?
Israel Zangwill is?
No, I don't.
Do you know any Zionist that ever used this expression that you're saying? Name one Zionist
No,
that used it.
I've heard names, but I don't remember them now.
Okay. So I should just take your sources. Trust me, bro. I read it on the internet. I don't know who said it,
I
but
didn't say
everybody.
sources. I said it wouldn't make sense for a clear saying to be said in a language specifically and then be altered in a translation
Okay,
and no
so
one knows
I
about
told
it.
you who coined the expression. I gave you the name. I gave you the name of the Zionist that made the expression famous amongst Jews. I've given you the origin of the expression, England, and then the Zionist that made it popular. I've given you names. You've said the internet said so. So
I said that if that was incorrect, if that translation was incorrect, it would have been clear. Someone would have challenged it. It's not that something that we saw once. We know about this for a very long time. So if I'm incorrect, I would listen to you. You say you have a name. Can you write that name down for me, or just tell me that name again so I can look that up myself after we're done? Because it's fine. We seek knowledge, my man.
There we go.
Lord shit. All right, got it. Clear. So, anyways, like I said, to wrap this up again, what's going on is ethnic cleansing, and it's gonna end up in ethnic cleansing. And you just agreed after you told me that Israel doesn't want anything to do with Gaza, that eventually you don't want a Palestinian state, which means that you're eventually gonna be taking Gaza, which means concluding ethnic cleansing.
Actually, I would like to see Gaza go to Egypt. That's what I would like to see. I would like to become
Gaza
part of
go to
Egypt.
Egypt?
Yeah. I would like it to be part of Egypt. I think that would be a good solution.
What would that change though?
What would that change? It would give them freedom. It would put an end to Palestinian nationalism and the desire to return.
No.
It would. It wouldn't.
No. Because Palestinians are Palestinians, not because Egypt
You're right.
controls
The Al Masris,
land, they're
that live in Gaza City, have nothing to do
Oh
with
my
Egypt
God,
and everything
bro.
to do.
You're gonna talk about Al-Masris again. How many people are those? How many? Like a million?
Oh, he's gone. Oh no, he's gone. He's gone. Oh well, that was a fun debate. I like this guy. Oh, he's back. Just saying to my audience, I like you. Yeah, you're a decent guy. I thought I lost it. What I would say, bro, is if every Egyptian was like you, we would have peace. And we would have the type of peace which doesn't involve the Egyptians starting a war and running from us. Because there wouldn't be the war for you to run from.
You also started wars before. You did. 1950.
Well, I just want to be very clear. Very clear. Israel does not start wars, but we finish them.
Oh, really? So you're watering down starting wars by saying that we should just finish them. Incorrect. You did start war.
Any war that looks like we start is preemptive.
We can say that about everything. We can literally say that about everything.
Egypt, you literally cross into our country and try to take Jerusalem.
Again,
it's not preemptive.
Here's the thing. Remember what happened in 1956 when France and England were not happy about the Suez Canal being nationalized? Yeah, remember the plan when you guys attacked Sinai and expected those to come in and jump like, no, stop, don't do this. And then all three of you ganged up on Egypt alone, and then the U.S. somehow and the Soviet Union saved us.
I would say one thing to you. I wish the West would stay out of these wars because the West does not have stomach for Middle Eastern conflicts. The Jews do. We have longevity. Yeah. We'll crush our enemies. The West get weak at the knees. The minute they're here,
honestly, one of the most important factors of you winning these wars or you making that massive advance and on the ground is America. Don't we agree?
Not at all. During this period, America basically had arms embargoes on us for a long period. 48, we couldn't buy any weapons. Britain and America slapped arms embargoes on us.
Not just about the weapons.
But today, America does provide us with incredible technology. They're an amazing partner to work with, but it comes with huge strings, and we're basically subordinate, and we're not able to develop our own weapons. We were developing a fighter jet. We had to abandon it. Like, we can make better planes than almost any nation. Bro, we're a clever people. Like, we have one of the most advanced arms industries in the world, and because we take aid. It's not aid at all. But because we're forced to buy American weapons so they control us, we're not able to develop in these areas because we will be a direct competitor. And instead of being a direct competitor, we're America's greatest ally, and we're actually better at using their technology than they are. We advanced it. We can fly 200 planes to Iran and not lose one pilot. They can't do that.
Yeah. Well, America did help, not just with weapons.
They
did help with
I agree.
with intelligence and information. I think that actually materialized in 1973 when they found out the whole empty space between the Egyptian army, which you have used to sneak away into Sinai. That was their help, you know. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
So I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So I just learned something. So thank you.
Anyways, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Again, listen. Not wishing good for Gazans just because Hamas takes control is not decent. All right, and this conflict is not going to end in Israel winning this time. Let me tell you.
I just want to be very clear. I wish the best for the people of Gaza,
but
that's not going to happen under Hamas. No, I don't even have an issue with them. But I just told you, I don't want to kick anyone out. I just don't want
your condition. Your condition is they have to be Israeli citizens. They don't get called Palestinians. And
I said with Gaza, I'd say that the Arabs of Judea and Samaria, I'd like to see as Israeli citizens. The Arabs of Gaza, I'd like to see as Egyptians. That would be my ideal.
But no Palestinian state.
No.
Well, do you think those people are going to accept that?
Probably. I speak to many Palestinians. My YouTube's full of me speaking to Palestinians, Arabs that say they want what I'm advocating for.
Yeah, you might be advocating for something nice, but if we look on the ground, we'll see settlers saying different things and acting in a different way.
Yeah, and you'll find other Israelis saying the complete opposite. Israel's a secular democracy. You were just telling me about the leftists who are getting beaten on the street for wanting peace.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we're a diverse people, bro. We're a diverse people.
But who has control? Who has control of the government? Who has control of the government? The government
It's a democracy. We've got an election coming up in a few weeks' time. It's a democracy. Things change very quickly in Israel.
We'll see, but I don't think Israel's ever going to change. Under all prime ministers, always been acting the same goddamn way, killing people left and right when they are provoked in the wrong way.
When they're provoked, I would agree. When we're attacked, yeah, that's when the killing starts. When you try to kill us, we kill back, and we're better at it.
Don't you think proportionality is important? In this context?
Yes, I do think proportionality is important.
Exactly. Thank you. Well, why do we not?
I would say 1 civilian to 1 militant is unprecedented in the Middle East.
Come again? What is that?
1 militant killed for every civilian, a 1-to-1 ratio is unprecedented in the Middle East.
Well, I don't know where you guys get those ratios, but I contest all of them.
From Hamas's numbers and Israel's numbers.
And I contest those as well. I take everything that anyone says with a grain of salt. Honestly.
All right.
You know?
So I'll let you do your own research. Look at the Gaza death toll. Look at those that died from natural causes.
Yeah, 73,000. Yeah, that's what they say.
8,000 people a year died from natural causes prior to the war. That 73,000 includes the natural causes. Israel says it's killed between 25 and 30,000. The numbers change depending on the source. Militants. And so you're already at half of the death toll. So you're talking maybe just north of 1-to-1. But you're talking around a 1-to-1 ratio, which is unprecedented. Do you think Assad had a 1-to-1 ratio in Syria?
No, Assad was a criminal. He was.
He was a
Netanyahu.
Do you think Sisi had a 1-to-1 ratio with the Ikhwanis? Sorry, don't want to get you in trouble. Okay, and on that pleasant note, I'm going to say, inshallah, our people do know peace, and I include the people of Gaza, and I include the Arabs of Judea and Samaria as well, and our brothers in Egypt. We forgive you for Pharaoh. We forgive you for the.
Dude, don't forgive me. I don't care. I'm not paying reparations.
You still owe us for the pyramids. We want reparations.
Oh my God, that's not true. That's not true. Anyways, what I'm gonna say to close this whole thing up: may God guide all of us to the truth.
Amen. 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 What I mean. All right, brother. Jazakallah khair. You too.